thought maybe I got the pox last night, but now I'm thinking, I think I got vax last night. I think a mosquito came in and bit me because it's itchy. So that's probably what happened. I got one of these last night. So, man, that light is weird. That's better. Anyways, so, the nonsense just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I just can't even get over sometimes how ridiculous it is. I'm still way over. You'd think I'd have it all set up, but I'm not that professional. So, I saw a commercial this morning, and it is for climate change, of course, for taking care of our planet, because this is serious, you guys. We really have got to take care of our planet at this point. And so they are, now old people are doing their part, and they're just going to go ahead and kill themselves so that they can free up space for the rest of the planet so that the younger people can now thrive. Like, oh my God, can you imagine? I swear to God, can you even imagine what kind of society that would be? I mean, it's like in horror films they've shown, right? And I could see this coming a mile away. Like, I knew what they were doing. I knew where it was headed. I probably have already mentioned it in the things, but, you know, their whole campaign, boomers, everybody's boomer, everybody who isn't of working age, boomer, you boomer, shut up, boomer. And that was this disconnect to make them less than human. They're just a boomer at this point. And what does a boomer mean? A boomer means that the person who destroyed the planet, the person who destroyed the economy, the person that destroyed America, all of those things are what they're taught a boomer is. And so it's all this programming and indoctrination. And I just did this TikTok on it, but I wanted to talk more about it because it's so ridiculous. There's just so many things that are so ridiculous about it. For one thing is our whole entire lives, we've been told suicide is a crime. Like, it's a fucking crime. You could be taken and put into a hospital without even being able to get out because you're a danger to yourself. So they've made it a crime our whole lives. But now all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute. We've rethought this a little bit. We're thinking it probably would be best if you just went ahead. Once you can't work anymore, you're really kind of a burden. So, and then you think of it even further. So what is the goal for the younger people then? Just work, 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 work. There's not even a retirement ahead for you. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And besides, suicide is legal, so why can't we just all do it? So, I mean, it can just keep going and going. When a society has no ethical boundaries, no moral compass, and is just being manipulated by psychopaths, like their whole push now closing down, I guess in Africa, closing down the coal mine or something, you know, doing all this stuff because they got to get clean heat. Well, so the lithium batteries are so detrimental to the planet, the mining that they do for it, as is per everything else. Go watch Blood Diamond and see what goes on. Then the mining community in Africa is violent. And then when you understand that you live in a world that is all espionage, well, they've got their own mercenaries over there. They've got war going on between the people who are protecting the mines, the people who, I mean, it's crazy. And I just saw some footage. It's just like shooting and stuff like that. But see, they'll push for that. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck how many villages will be wiped out or how many people would be killed, you know, used as a shield or whatever. They could care less. All they care about is the consumerism of, like right now, the big push for the electric cars, which, you know, got to have the lithium batteries. Oh, well, we've got them and we are to sell them to you. And they're not easy to get, you know. Oh, that wouldn't be long before that, because then it would be another thing we needed to buy and another thing and another thing. It just never ends. It's whatever they come up with. And they always make a trauma, just like the Tylenol. I mean, and then have to have all these safety features. Oh my God, you got to have this. You got to have that. You got to have it in a box. You got to have a seal. I'm like, oh my God, this is madness. Like, wouldn't it just be easier to just, and cheaper, just to have somebody just monitor the store and make sure nobody's tampering with the stuff? Like, it's absurd. Why in the world wouldn't we just be able to go to the pharmacy and have them dump out how many Tylenol we need out of their big bottle? It's all about money. It's all about them creating the scenario so that they can sell us another thing. And people have to wake up and stop and say, like, no, this is bullshit. Like, you got to just see through the game. And so now, you know, you're telling old people. The other day it was in the news, a veteran, and this one was in Canada, went in to get treatment, and he has depression or something. Probably is poor, so he's probably not doing his part. You know, I mean, there's rich people out there who need islands. Get on it. They like submarines and shit. So, you know, this stuff costs. Get to work. And so they told him, well, you know, I think the best option for you is we got this handy little suicide machine. Just, you know, we'll give you the special rate. Just go ahead and go take care of this yourself. It's like, it is so insane. But that is the absurdity, see, that has to come out into the news to get people to start questioning their reality so they can start seeing through it and start setting their moral compass, start seeing this world for what it is and stop playing along in this perverse game. So now when they're going to push with the old people, there definitely would be some old people who would be like, oh, finally, you know, and they would jump right in because life's too hard and things haven't gone quite right for them. And nobody taught them how to heal or let go of anything. So they're carrying heavy burdens. That is part of what ages people, is the burdens that they carry and not releasing them. I swear to God, just healing and, so healing my internal wounds, the wounds that were emotional and traumatic to my being, healing those, and then detoxing as much as I can off the chemicals, which, you know, is hard. Like I see these people like, oh, you got to get all of your mercury fillings out. It's like, I am not going back to the dentist and having another fucking barbaric treatment done. And I've had fucking fillings dug out. It's horrible. And so, you know, and I've got implants, breast implants. I've got tattoo ink all over me. Like, I have got constant toxins no matter how much I go and get a detox. And there's no freaking way that I'm going to go in and have them cut me open or dig things out. Like, they're barbaric treatments. I'm done with that. You know, I know that there's more higher technology, and I'll just have to keep, you know, biting a pencil until I get into those med beds. But those med beds, like, everything shifts around. The things that don't belong in you go out of you. You grow your cells back. Like, I'll grow my uterus back. Like, everything. I'll grow my gallbladder back. Everything they've taken out of me, it will grow back. Just like people's limbs and stuff. So, I'm, you know, and it will remove the toxins. It will remove the implants. I think it's going to remove the ink, personally. Especially once, you know, you learn about that it's got toxins in it, because it's going to remove the toxins out of our cells. It's like resetting our cells to their optimal state of being. And, you know, like if you're really old, it can only go back to a certain distance. It can't take you back to infancy or something. So every bit of age, you still have some wear and tear, but it's going to take them back to a much more healthy position. And so people are going to feel a lot better and be able to take care of themselves. But still, you have to heal your wounds, because that is a part of what's aging people so much. And I know since I started doing those things, I feel like I started looking younger. I started looking, and I think it has to do with like the shine in your eyes, the sheen in your skin and stuff. Because when I see some of these people who look really sick, their skin starts looking weird, their eyes get dim. So I think that is the thing where you start turning your light on So you start, it is really like stoking the fire of your soul inside yourself, and that starts lighting you up. And the more that you start going in that direction and detoxing and stuff, I swear, I think it makes you younger. It makes you feel better. And feeling better automatically puts that in your head to look better. When you feel better, you look better because you don't have that stress. It's, if you think about all the little muscles, just every time, like even when I'm talking, like little muscles that move all around in your face and stuff like that. So if you're walking around in pain and suffering, you can contort your face to represent what's inside of you. And that is what happens as people age. They become a contortion of carrying their own pain and representing their pain. And that is why so many people start looking like bitter old people, just angry and bitter. It's not because they are just angry, bitter people. They're people in pain. They don't know how to release their pain and suffering. And they're getting old. They feel rejected. They feel abandoned. Like there's a whole bunch of things, like even in our society. And remember, every soul that is here to experience something came in to experience this. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for them. Even though when I hear different people's stories, I'll cry. I'll cry for the pain of what's going on. But as a whole, I understand, like I've said a million times, I look at life from a soul's perspective, and I understand these souls came in for this experience. And so at this time in our society, as we reject older people, but it has been in our indoctrination, in our training, and our programming to do that, to, you know, put them in a home. You don't have time for that. You know, in other cultures, that is, you know, that is, I can't think of that word, what? It's like half in there. It is taboo. You would never, ever do that. It's your responsibility to care for this person who brought you into this world. And it is you giving back. It's the balance. It's, you know, the yin and yang of that aspect of living. You know, so it is to go full circle, to go in turn, and to do your part as a generational descendant. And so that has been, you know, cultural standard for a long time. When someone gets older and they can't go out and work as hard and stuff, then you start sharing your food with them. You give them a place to rest. You take care of them as they took care of you. But our society was like, oh, you don't got time for that. You got to get to work. Ain't nobody got time for them. Well, we got homes. We got homes we'll put them in, you know, and we'll just, the government will do it as part of their retirement. We'll take care of them. When those places are killing centers, most people only survive in one of those homes for 5 months. And I told you, like months and months ago, in that one weird conversation with the neighbor, like it's just weird when you talk to people who are just asleep because they don't think. So I'm not trying to be judgmental of her or anything. They just don't think it through. Everything is very surface. Everything is very based on a narrative, on a script. And what is being said that sounds right, that makes sense, is what they will just go and just, you know, I mean, fight to the death on some of this stuff. But when she said, when that old man had died out back, remember, before they started fixing his place up, and I was saying, we were talking about him or whatever, and she goes, yeah, well, people who are over 60, they should be allowed to, they should be put into homes so that they can be taken care of. Nobody should have to live like that. Just looking at her like, because I'm positive I was already 61 when she was telling me that. It's like, it's so bizarre, even at 60 years old. Like, my mom is still completely independent, and she's almost 80. And I saw a woman in footage just now of Florida for the cleaning up. Like, they're partying, they're building community. They're all coming together, and, you know, I don't know what all's going down there, but that's all what you need. Like I said before, when people need to be rescued, you're not running out, well, who did you vote for? I'm not helping you unless you tell me. Did you get one of these? Do you wear these? Like, people don't care about that stuff. They go over the things that create division. They're able to overstep that. So they're creating a whole thing. But I saw footage of this woman who's turning 95 this week, and they're going to have a big old party there. She's just out there just working just as hard as anybody else. So, well, I don't know. I'm not there. But she was definitely, You could tell by the video. She wasn't some weak-minded, you know, I can't do my part 95-year-old. She was very with it and out there in her working clothes, and she looked strong and stuff. She didn't look at all fragile. And so, I mean, where people have already thought, oh, well, like 60 on the commercials and stuff in the programming. They show women discussing hormone problems at 40 and like wearing Depends at board meetings and stuff. Like, it's mental, but they know that they're causing this destruction in the physical being. So they're covering their ass. You know, they've always got a beard. Oh, well, you know, it's the hormones. Oh, it's the young people with their heart. You know, they just come up with their whatever. And then anybody who's asleep, oh, that's what it is. Okay, I get it now. You know, it's like, no, they're lying to you. Wake up, pay attention. And, you know, you got to go the extra step. You got to question something. But as long as you're just playing your part and not questioning anything, that is essentially that NPC or whatever it's called, that non-player in the game that's just walking around. That's what everybody is in the game, is one of those until they wake up and take the role of playing self. And so until then, everybody is a non-player in the game. They're just on autopilot, playing a role. The dutiful wife, the Sunday school teacher, you know, the black sheep of the family. You know, everybody's just playing a role until they realize what's going on in the game. And then, so, I've got too many things as usual. Let me think where I was talking. Well, I go back with the old people, you know, and then it is going to be that they're going to push. There would be people, you know, like people saying, well, why is your grandparents still here? They don't do anything productive. You know, mine had to be. So now you should. And especially, oh my gosh, people putting them inside those homes. And like people thinking 60 is old. 60 is not old. That is programming. 60 is not old. 70 is not old. I know people who, I mean, just like that woman at 95. I saw one time when I was listening to Juan, he was talking about this beautiful woman who came riding down on the shore where he was standing out on a beach. And he said she was beautiful. She had this great body. And he started talking to her. And I'm pretty sure she was well into her 70s. She could have even been in her 80s. He said it was shocking. But see, that is, people are shocked by stuff like that because it's so programmed for people to believe that they age themselves. They don't take care of themselves. They age themselves. And people are not taught the importance of healing their wounds and facing themselves. And so most people, you know, they don't have time for that. They don't want to be a weak person. They don't want to face things that bother them. But see, right now, the universe is making sure you can't hide from the truth. The truth is going to come out. And it's so crazy. I just saw somebody who was releasing some footage that they're like, this is mental. It's footage of the Pentagon, I think, and all of the officers that are down there. Ooh, all the officers that are down there. I've got so much going on in my house lately. It's like, oh, I'm just ignoring them. Just ignore them. It's like, no, I'm not playing. But anyways, this footage shows all of them out there right after it happened, and there's no plane parts or anything. And this person was making a point like, you know, there's somebody who's releasing this footage. And this was already said a while ago. Even Trump said this a while ago. They're going to start releasing it. It was going to be a slow drip into society, and it would go into certain different groups, because there is so many of these citizen journalists who are doing all of this research and going out and looking for all this information, and then they're sharing it. And so that is the slow drip. That's the awakening in that slow kind of period. So all of us and the people who are waking right now, who are questioning things, start seeing the truth. And it is necessary because it's going to be so impactful when it happens all at once. The great awakening, the part where it's just like a big slam dunk all of a sudden. And I just saw a thing This guy who, he was born into the LDS community, and he is in Salt Lake, and he's always on the run, and he's always doing these videos, and he's always talking about, like, his dad tried to kill him, like, they always use poison. He did something with El Chapo, like, all sorts of stuff that this guy is always telling. I don't think he's crazy. I think he's telling the truth, but the truth is so crazy that he sounds crazy, and then plus he just kind of, he's focused on one aspect of it, one perspective, and he pushes that narrative. And so I think he should just be a little bit more broad instead of taking it an extra step. But whatever, you know, we all have a way of talking, and none of us know how others are perceiving, because every single person's perception is going to pick up on different things. So, you know, you can go and listen to a speaker speak, and then afterwards question the different people who were in the group, and everybody's going to have something different that stuck out to them, something different that they noticed. Some people would even just notice, like, you know, I've had people say that they just, that my voice kind of is hypnotic to them, and they don't even notice what I'm saying. They just like the voice pattern. And so, you know, everybody is picking up on different things, and it's all of it's your consciousness. It's not something about who or what you are. It's your actual receiving of your reality, of what it is, how you are perceiving, if that makes any sense. So different things stand out to different people. So, you know, it's impossible to please everybody or to say the right thing to every single person. It's way too variable and vast. So, anyways, I've got so many things. So, anyways, the whole push, it's not gonna be able to keep going. That's the whole thing. Everything they're pushing. Oh, the LDS guy. Yeah. So he said that, he said within the next couple days. And so when I looked at his thing, he had done this 9 hours ago. And he said within the next couple days, there is going to, off the West Coast, and I would imagine they're going to do it off, I mean, everything, since we're kind of like on watch, I'm just going to share what he's saying because it's in alignment with the other things. So we just got to keep waiting and seeing. And he said, and this seems reasonable. It seems like this is totally what they would do. But he said that there's a whole bunch of, I don't know, warships or something off the coast, the West Coast, and that they are going to blast missiles or bombs or whatever, you know, and then they're going to create a tsunami, and it's going to be a mega tsunami, and that is what is going to, it will change our whole coastline. But they've already shown that they're going to do that. And so if that is what goes on, because I would say it takes me like 30 minutes to get to the ocean, but also we're in a peninsula. So we got that going for us up here where I'm at, because I'm closer to Vancouver. No, I'm like right in between Vancouver, Canada, and Seattle, Washington. So I'm right in between. And in that area is whatever I just said. And so it's not going to be the same impact. Like in Seattle, I think they even have a if you look at the map, there's also some sort of a barrier, like a peninsula where you go into. So there's like a barrier reef that goes, and then it circles back in and makes a peninsula right in front of Seattle, I'm pretty sure. So places that will have that will be a little bit further for it to move energetically and go. So I am just thinking it would go a little bit slower. I'm going to go this morning. I'm going to go to the food bank, and I'm going to go to the store, get some more supplies, and get gas, and do all of that stuff to be ready. So, but I would think if it comes up, there would be a really fast impact, but I don't know. I mean, it could reach here. I'm definitely way less than 100 miles. And right now, the frequency is madness how much it's turned up. I can't even tell you. Like, it is just nonstop. It feels like that there's somebody just sitting there with pins poking me all over the place. And some of them go deep into tissues and into, like, I even feel, some of it feels like it's in your organ. And all of a sudden you feel like the stab. And in my hair feels like it's like on alert. All of those kind of overly sensitive. Like, the weird thing is so, you know, I had gotten this new phone, and then right when I got it, they changed that 4G, 5G thing or something on Apple phones, which I didn't even know it was coming. I saw about it the other day, but now I have awareness of it. And so what I have noticed is when I'm holding my phone, my hand starts feeling like it's being electrocuted, and I have to keep putting it down. It feels like there's pins and needles jabbing into my fingers. And, you know, at first you can sit there and start thinking, oh man, I've got arthritis or something. But then I start being like, oh, so it's every time I pick up my phone, so it's emitting so much energy. And it's so crazy because my house is small. And so I have the charger, the kind you just set your phone on. And, but any of the chargers, I think, I mean, I've seen people use those little monitors and go up. Like the fridge emits so much. The whole reason they changed us over to these light bulbs, and it's so crazy when you look back at Trump kept making a thing about the light bulbs. Well, now that we're this deep into it and realize that the light bulbs that they wanted us to change over to emit a frequency. And the certain light is more damaging to our eyes. So this light and this frequency is more damaging to us. So when we have all of this, like I said, like with this heater thing, the TV, the fridge, every single thing in the house is emitting this electrical current that's plugged in. The current is coming out of our sockets everywhere all the time. And then when you plug it in, it starts this current that starts emitting out. And when you have a whole bunch of things plugged in, you've got a whole big current, even with the light bulbs and stuff. And so they're sending out this like, oh, like these different sounds. And some of us can pick it up. I think there's a lot of people who can pick it up, but they just think it's regular. They don't realize like it's an extra sound. Like that sound doesn't have to be there. And that sound is there to try and drive you insane. It's like the madness sound or something. And then plus it's been doing weird things like these band headaches and stuff. I swear to God, sometimes I'll be sitting here, especially in the night, it really picks up. And I don't know if they're doing it more when people get home to cause disruption, to cause more DV. Like they monitor all that stuff. They keep track. They keep the data. They pay attention. Oh, here, we turned it up at this time. There was more alcohol sales. There were more domestic violence calls and stuff like that. So they track all that to see and pay attention and monitor. And it's creepy as like, you know, someone's doing that for them. Someone's involved in all of these social experiments that are going on. And it's, but I really think a lot of people just don't even know what the hell they're doing. Now in my one video about the UN being out here, this one lady, there's tons of comments and stuff. You could go in and read what they're all over the place. But this one woman, they saw him out at her house, and they're out there putting in these optic lines. And so she went out and asked him, "What are you doing?" And she said the guy got all sketchy and was like real vague, and like he didn't even know what he was doing. He's just like, "Well, we're just putting these cables in." And she started asking like about the colors. Why are they all these different colors? Why are they? And he didn't know anything, she said. And he just seemed very awkward and uncomfortable, which could just be because, you know, he really doesn't know anything about what he's doing. And that's the thing, is like they keep people stupid so that people don't know what they're doing, but they just blindly go do it and don't question it for themselves. And so they're going and laying these lines to start this frequency from the bottom up, you know. Like, I swear to God, like right now even, I feel the ground is vibrating. And that thing just came on. And what I've noticed with these big trucks out here and stuff, and then people will go out and start doing their power tools. Like they're getting all aggravated. So then they go out and start doing their power. So it's like this is just so loud outside. And it raises the frequency. It makes the frequency louder. All of those things emitting more of this toxic sound to us, you know. It is, and it makes you feel so like tense, man. It's you know, it's I cannot wait. And I really am kind of feeling like that part of the reason why the power will go down is to protect us, because I think that there is they're using this frequency and electricity as a weapon. And it's so crazy too, because they make us pay for this. It's killing us. Like same with the food, same with the water, all this stuff. Here, pay for your own poison. And then to tell people that electricity is so safe. The other day, I have this shelf above my toaster, and I love toast. And I was making some toast, and I had, so I have this little shelf above it that has the butter and a little butter knife and stuff on that. And I knocked it weird or whatever, and the butter knife fell into the toaster just perfectly. And I was like, oh, you know, how many kids, because I remember learning this when I was a kid, but people aren't learning stuff like we used to. And how many kids would just reach in and grab that knife out and not unplug it first, not realizing that that is electrical current inside of there. All those little wires are a live current, and when the metal touches, the metal receives that same current and will at least shock you. But you know, if the toaster was going, which I think mine was when it fell in, you know, you can get electrocuted even though it's 110. But you know, that can, it all depends on like how you have your hands touching, how the current moves. If that current has an exit, it will just go through. But if it doesn't have an exit, then that is where people die from being electrocuted. It all depends on how the current is able to flow through you. So anyways, I was just thinking, I bet you there's so many kids. I mean, this is the culture of, you know, go out and jump on a trampoline and give yourself a brain injury all day long kind of situation. And, you know, I don't know. Just the assault on children right now is just crazy, especially when you become older and you have some comparison. Like so many people, the ones who think they're running the world, have no comparison. They don't have any idea. They've got such limited perspective and so much ego and arrogance to think that they know it all. But that is all the creation of division. Because that is, it's not just color against color and stuff. It's definitely generational. They don't want younger people to learn from older people because that makes knowledge. And you know, another thing that I was thinking the other day is, you know, that orphan train, when it showed all of those orphans that had no parents, like where did all these orphans come from? Were they after World War II? And then there was all the dads and moms were killed or something. Like, where did all these orphans come from? And so I was thinking, it's kind of weird because I have, like, I don't know, my siblings have been doing those ancestry things. So they could have found out more information. I'm not sure. But I have two grandmas that there was less information on. One of them, there was siblings. So she probably wasn't off the orphan train. But the other one, she came from like South Dakota, I believe. It was either North Dakota or South Dakota. And she came down to, I think she went to Missouri or Kansas or something. And she left her family and never spoke to them and never spoke of them, never had anything to do with them again. That's all that my mom ever knew about that. That's all that I was ever told, because I've asked questions about it. And then, but now my perspective is like, you know, how many of these kids went from the orphan trains? And then, you know, I mean, there was a time in space where people weren't even told they were orphans. And, you know, there was a lot of abuse done to orphans, and not even just sexual abuse, but just the abuse of making them into be maids and take care of the adults and stuff. So that, you know, and that would create people wanting to leave their family, never having anything to do with them. But it was weird because I was thinking, how many of us have a grandparent or something that could have been off the orphan train, and then all of us are somehow have that relational bond of everybody has got somebody in their family off the orphan train, if you get what I'm saying. Like, there's just a lot of weird things that we could come together on instead of always creating division on. But, you know, they don't want people to learn from the older people, because the older people carry, it's not knowledge, it's wisdom. It is actually living and seeing and understanding things and growing and changing. And it's, you know, it's not just reading something out of a book. And so, and besides the fact that they change everything in the books, and they do that periodically anyways, just to, I don't know, probably just to create the arguments. Like, they got people arguing over flat earth and globe, when the globe was just started being taught like a couple of decades ago. You know, before that, it was known that it was just a stationary place. Why they had to create all of this whole concept of space was probably the same thing as why they had to create there to be safety packaging. You know, they just needed a way to funnel money, to bring money into their whatever, their black ops projects or something. And when they could create NASA, look at how much that they were able to control our minds and getting us all to think that there was space. And I mean, there's so much about the stuff that they say about space and the pictures and everything, like they make about space as being such a big part of our lives, and aliens and all of it is like going through the back door of manipulation to the truth. And so everything is, it's like manufactured to direct us away from the truth, to misguide us. So the truth has, it's like a misinformation on just the highest degree, so that they can, you know, just trick us all the time, keep us in a state of confusion. And then they can keep people arguing and fighting over stuff. Like the people who are the flat earth and the globers, like they will fight and fight and fight. Like the flat earthers never end with them trying to prove with the experiments, prove this and prove that. It's like when you awaken, when you start questioning reality, you don't need all of that proof. And when you are in that state of the mind trap and not thinking for yourself, all the evidence in the world isn't going to change that. You have to ask the questions in your own mind. You have to, once you ask the questions, you open yourself up to answers. And so these people, you know, I think it's good because that they share this stuff. I think it's good because no matter what, there is people waking up every day that are going out looking for information. But I'm talking about the drive inside the people. Hopefully, you know, they're doing it so to help people waking up, so the people waking up start having some reference of the lies and stuff. But you know, it seems a lot like they're just getting into this defensive, like, no, we're right. Just look at this. We're going to do this experiment. Like, it's just arguing with people who can't see the truth. You know, they want to just keep arguing the stance. They don't want to question anything. They want to just argue the narrative. They're just on a script. And so, and people playing that part can also be motivating our society because it does motivate those people to go and get more proof and show more evidence to people. But I really feel like the people who are constantly, give me evidence, show me evidence, they don't have any discernment. They don't have any inner knowing or something. I just don't get the whole thing of always having to see evidence. If every single thing that my guides told me, and I said, well, show me the evidence. Give me the evidence. Show me the truth. Show me, you could be sitting there for a long time waiting. There is an aspect to trusting yourself, and realizing, where would the information come from? There's information that comes into me, and it's where would it be coming from? It's coming from somewhere. They're telling me something, and that's the evidence to me. They give it to me and they show me. So I don't know. It just weirds me out how many people are just I just got another one with the UN truck. And I think so many of these are bots. I mean, they're just so ridiculous. Oh, real convenient. No pictures. It's dude, shut the fuck up. You just, to me, yesterday I had somebody who said, oh, and how do you know? I was how do you not know? How in the world do you not know? Are you paying attention in your life? Are you questioning anything in your life? How the fuck do you know? I'm not even going there anymore. How do you know? How do you know? Show the evidence. Go look for your evidence. Go question your reality. And, I'm just, it's on them. It's on every soul to do it for themselves. And, there's just so much. There's just so much. I swear to God. That everything that I even see, it's it shows more and more and more. And some of the things, it's just I don't know how to explain all of the things. But some of the things I don't even know if people would be that interested in. It's how people are here to learn and to see and to play a role and to, it really is people questioning things for themselves is what opens you up to the truth. But you have to learn how to trust yourself, how to communicate within, and how to read the signs and to understand this other world. It is translating from beings that don't speak your language. Even if they had spoken it before, there isn't. Some talk directly, just completely talk. Some will show you pictures. Some will, I don't even know how to explain it, just show you something, but you don't even have to see it. It's they show you the truth or something. It's inside of every single person. There's no special thing to be psychic. It's just it's a skill that not everybody has mastered because they didn't even know that they could. So it is that just learning to communicate with the other side, learning to communicate with your higher self, learning to translate the information that they're giving you. And the questions that you have, you don't have to have evidence, but there's all sorts of evidence coming out, and it is being released by the white hats or the good guys or whatever. All of that stuff is coming out, the whole thing with the hunter and stuff like that. There's so much coming out on him. But anyways, this guy who had said that this tsunami thing is supposed to be within the next couple days. So if that is, we know we're close. We know we're close to something. We know it's going to be big. It's going to be, bad. And I think it is kind of they're going to, just to say, for instance, the banks have been trying to go down. They're just because they're in control of the media and all the information, that they keep acting like everything's fine. They push the agenda that they want people to focus on. So they want you to focus on Russia, whatever. When, I just saw this Russian guy, and he was Putin does not care about America. He's not going after America. He does not want your country. He's got his own money. I saw a commercial too for people, Russians wanting to leave and go to America. And all the stuff they showed on the commercial was true. You know, going to America is going into a weird, soulless world. You know, where people only desire they have is to please other people and to be, you know, rich and famous. And it's very materialistic and shallow. And like this one part has all these guys in line waiting for the bathroom. This is a commercial that they show in Russia. And it is these families sitting on an airplane, all excited that they're going to America and stuff. And right away, everything that starts happening is like, oh my gosh. But one of the things is they've got all these men standing in line, and the black guy walks up and tries to go in front of the people. And the Russian guy's like, wait a minute, you know, I'm in line, get in the back of the line, dude. And the other people in line get down on their knees and say, oh, we're so sorry. You know, we repay, like they're worshiping this guy and lets him go in the front of the line. And the Russian guy's like, what is going on? Like, there's just so much absurd stuff, but it's all true stuff. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. Like, what in the world? Like, you're putting things out of balance, trying to fix things that aren't even broken. Like, you know, if somebody feels that they are still suffering from slavery that was possibly done to somebody in their family or something, those are their wounds for them to heal, to overcome, you know, the things, overcome the chains that hold you back. And it's not to have all of society bend over backwards for you. Like, when would that stop? Everybody's got something. So when would it stop? We all have challenges to overcome. It's not just one, but they push a narrative. It's all they're constantly doing is pushing it, this narrative of where they want to direct our energy. And so anyways, whatever is going to go down is going to be going down, I think, soon. I really think it's going to be, it could be any time. Like, I was really being hopeful I would even get to today to go and get some more supplies. Like, I was like, man, it could go any moment. And you know, you just don't know how bad it's going to be. And when I know that they're doing this stuff with the frequency, like in my own neighborhood, and the people are being more violent or more on edge or something, and I can feel it in myself. I'll keep myself calm, like put on something to calm my spirit and focus on something that's relaxing, like crocheting or something. So kind of put myself into like a meditation. Oh, and I want to say something else, because yesterday, so I was doing this one, you know, it was almost done. And I didn't like the first couple of stitches. So I thought, well, I'm going to go up from the bottom and take them out. It's impossible. I swear to God, it's so knotted going that direction. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, I'm just starting all the way over. I love this pattern and I want it to be good and stuff in it. So this was, you know, one of the things, like, this is how my guides will teach me. And so I'm looking at that, you know, and I'm feeling defeated. Like, I keep trying to take out another row and trying to get it, you know, because all of the rest of it I liked. It was just the first couple of stitches that when I very first started it, that I didn't know as well what I was doing. But once I got into the pattern, I got better at it and better at it. So then I started trying to take it out, wasn't working. And then I was like, oh my gosh. But really what they were showing me was like, well, it's just learning. Don't hold on to what you've already done. Let it go. And I started taking it apart, and it was kind of like, oh, you know, I'm starting all the way back over. But then I started being like, well, it's going to be so much better. I know so much more what I'm doing. I enjoy sitting here doing it. It's relaxing. And so once I went through this whole process of feeling kind of defeated and being like, well, that is the gift of learning. You know, you have to be able to let go of things that were mess ups or mistakes and learn from them and go on. Because I think so many people, like, you know, will just not want to start over. They will just get defeated and be angry and upset. And so, or just keep going and not be happy with the product or whatever. And so I just taking it all out and starting over. So I started all the way back over. That one was almost done. I took all of the yarn back out as much as I could. So I started this one back over, and I do like it much better, but it just kind of gave me peace. Like while I started it, I started feeling like, oh my gosh, this one's going to be so much better. Oh my gosh, you know, and I started, I don't know. There is just something to learning that we just bypass because of, I don't know, it is not tuning into your soul and listening to why you're really here and what your real lessons are and what you're really trying to learn and stuff. Because people get so outside of themselves, trying to control the dream, trying to control the world and stuff. But really, we need to learn how to control our attitude, control our emotions, and, you know, be able to figure out like what your needs are and be able to take care of yourself. So anyways, I don't know if I said anything that even made any sense, hopefully, but it really is, you know, I don't have to complete the information for anybody because it's all about just to get people to start thinking themselves, start looking at things and let your mind go wild and let your mind show you what the truth is for you and start noticing, you know, what's going on around you and what could be the deeper meaning, because all of it is God's. There's so much more deeper stuff going on than people understand. But, you know, that's the thing, is that when you're asleep and you are one of those NPCs or whatever, the non-productive player, I don't even know what they are, but just the player in the game, you know, not questioning anything and not advancing. It is a huge advancement when you start questioning things and wake up. I'm really curious to see, like, how is this when shit goes down? Like something big is going to happen for sure. And it is when the shit goes down, I'm just so curious what my neighbors are going to act like, what they're going to say. You know, because I do think that this turns it up at night and I do hear more yelling. It just feels really tense. And I have, like, when I first moved in here, it tripped me out when I was on next door, how people's answer to everything was just get your gun. And I was just like, oh my God, what in the Wild West shit is this? And so now it's like, and they turn up these frequencies to get everybody feeling tense, to get people's hearts hurting, nothing to lose, there's bombs going off. Like, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, to me, they're so passive about these big trucks out here. Just I am just blown away by the explosions and what they're allowed to get away with. It is mind-boggling, and it just blows me away, especially the woman who's outside screaming at everybody we need to be quiet all the time. And, you know, she's perfectly fine with this. This is like in her back door. It's just so weird. I just don't get it. I sent a message to the HOA again yesterday. It was pretty scathing, but they're not answering me anymore. Just like the neighbor's not. Like, I'm going to still pick her up some food at the food bank and leave it hanging out there for her. If she don't want to talk to me because I value my own time and I don't want to be someone's babysitter, I'm sorry. You know, there's nothing I can do about that. I sent a message to the HOA and said, well, you know, you should change the name of the place for one thing, because it's not. And I basically told them, you know, you got yourself another rental in your place, because, you know, I'm not staying for this. This is some bullshit. You know, then on top of it, you're telling us that we have to pay for these fragile roads that are falling apart. And these trucks, these giant, big, huge trucks that take up the whole road, 2 trailers, and on the trailers they're carrying heavy machinery, those big giant machines, you know, the dirt movers or whatever. So you know, that is some fucking extreme weight. And they're not even supposed to be driving through our roads. Okay. So, and then the noise day in and day out. And they've only got like, whatever, 40 of the houses in of the 300. Hell no. Y'all stay here for this nonsense. I'm not staying here. This is some bullshit. That's why I said, like, I've outgrown my area. Like, the people are passive. They don't care. They, you know, the one that I talked to, well, at least it's raising the value of our house. Like, motherfucker, do you not understand how value goes? Do you not understand how it's manipulated? Like, they raise the market, get everybody to pay top dollar. Then they move to another area to do that one. And then they destroy this one, let it go. So if you do stay in your house and pay it off, like a lot of old people try and do, the area you're in becomes a slum because they are constantly manipulating the space. And all of these fucking developers, contractors, real estate agents, they're all in on it together with the city planners and stuff. They're all, and this is the thing too, is some of them may not know. They may not see the whole thing. They're just playing their part. They're just going in, you know, and paying, you know, whatever, pay off for this or that, because I don't get how they're able to. There's got to be some sort of noise ordinance that would be preventing this. And I mean, to go from the time that the sun's not even up when they start, and then go past the time the sun, it's all fucking day. Explosions, explosions, explosions. It's just like, oh my God, it's fucked. But, you know, I said a long time ago, I swear to God, a spaceship could land in the middle of my street and the neighbors would just be talking about who won the game. They're just all oblivious. They're all the MP players or whatever. They're not present in their own lives. And that is one of my big motivational factors. It's not like I don't feel like I'll be protected. Like it will become every man for itself. Like if a tsunami comes in here and we're being evacuated and there's limited space to go because the road leading out of here leads towards the ocean. And so we would all like I don't know how to set up the scenario. I think I've mentioned it quite a few times. But like if you go up the coastline, like if you went up from Seattle and you got up to where Bellingham is, then Bellingham is kind of in a location that you are limited to escape routes. You'd have to go into Canada or you'd have to go back through Seattle. And so when you go out from there, I'm out from there. So not along there, I'm out from there. Going out from there, you go up against the mountains. So even if I were to go up, like I said, that there is ways that you can cross across, but they close it down because of the weather. And so you can't cross because it's too dangerous. And it's way going up in the mountains. So you can't go that direction. So even if I were to leave, if the evacuation was being all crazy that way and I decided to go up, which I'm sure there would be a lot of people who would go up. There could even be people from Bellingham that would be going straight up. But once we get up, we're still going to be trapped, kind of. There's no way down until spring. And so, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to go down. I don't know how, you know, everything's going to go. I only know that we have to go through this. It's going to be traumatic. And after that, after the healing and after everybody has gotten their footing in what this world really is, then we'll start picking up and healing or fixing it, you know. But whatever it is the reset. It's to wipe the slate clean. So I'm, you know, I like I said, I feel like my house is kind of crumbling below my feet. My trees are all dying. I can't even stand. Yesterday I raked a little bit outside. It's just so heartbreaking. I was raking all the time, every week. I mean, I was always out raking my yard and keeping it really nice and clean. Then once all of everything started dying, it was such a dump that it just started becoming so depressing. that every day you'd have to go out and it's just more of a dump, more of a dump, more of a dump. And all the trees are dying around me. And it was like, I just can't do this anymore. And Stella was harassing me to go out and clean up poop. So I went out. There wasn't even that much poop. But I know that she just gets to where, you know, you've been sitting too long, Mom. Get up. You got to go outside. And so she'll make me go out and do it. And so I was out there, you know, and it was just so much death. And it was just, oh my gosh, it's just so depressing. But, and then in here, you know, I feel like the ground keeps giving out. And my porch, it's like my porch is about to just come right off the house ever since the flood that happened, whatever, when we had our flood up here was, I think, November. I can't even believe it's almost November again, but I don't remember. It was whenever the Sumas flood was. And, but the water was so high here, and then the snow got so high, and the wetness and the not drying, and it rotted wood that was already, I think, rotted, but just did it in. So anyways, I feel like everything is just kind of falling apart. Like I've got to go in and really do some work if I'm going to have my house still. But I don't know if I'm still going to. And that is what we have to just be okay with. Like, and remember that we will rebuild. We got to let go of what's leaving us. And I don't know if this is. I don't know. You know, but if the people all start coming, the only other way is to go out towards Leavenworth. So you kind of go down and then cut across. But every single way out, you have to cross the pass. And, you know, and they're going to do this. They're trying to isolate and keep people trapped. I mean, Inslee even said before he was going to close down the pass. And so, and this is what, you know, my friend who wanted me to go into the food thing with, you know, like watch everybody starve, but Food Alliance, whatever it was. And she was talking about back then, like she could have gone off a little bit. I don't know. I haven't talked to her at all either. But that she was saying that he was going to cut off the pass and isolate us. But we really are in a very isolated place. And if the water does come up and it does go 100 miles inland. But another thing, too, when you think about that is, well, they're putting a lot of money into these optic fiber cables that they're out there putting in. And they're putting those everywhere. So many people everywhere. And now people are becoming concerned, you know, in my post, I'm seeing people are like, oh my gosh, you know, now they're realizing, oh my gosh, they're putting electrical cables down in all of our neighborhoods. So there's something going on. So anyways, like, I don't know. They're putting those in, which they still haven't gotten mine in. It's still just the painting marks. And the water company came out and painted some more the other day. So I know that my HOA said that they were fighting it. And that's why I had to put in a complaint. There's got to be somebody here that's saying this isn't right. You know, whatever these people will accept, it's mental. But she said that they were trying to stop them from putting in the lines, but they're not trying to stop them for the same reason I'm saying we need to stop them. They don't know. They just are like, you know, you can't come into our HOA and just start doing things without our permission. So that's their only battle. And, you know, I don't know where any of it's going to go. Because if the water's going to rise, I don't know, maybe it's just going to go, like when I very first started hearing about that, I thought, well, I'm going to probably end up with oceanfront property. Now, you know, I don't know, with that doomsday map, if you go in so close, that, yeah, I would be underwater, I think, but I don't know, you know, we just got to wait and see. Everything is wait and see. It's play the game and just know that you're going to be okay. Prepare the best you can. Know you're going to be okay. It's just part of a game. And no matter what, you're not really here. It's just a game. So anyways, I don't know. I could just talk and talk and talk. So I will probably just go. Oh, I'm going to go up to the food bank. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.